Hello Fanatics and welcome to Fin Day Fridays presented by Fanatic. Today we talk about the new Carver from FCS II. Last week we talked about honeycomb, carbon, and how they both go into every Tech Flex fin to give it a specific flex pattern. Well, the Carver fin does something completely different. The carbon in this fin is not placed most densely at the base or the leading edge like the two sets of fins that we talked about last week. Instead, the carbon is packed in the back trailing edge right here, and that starts to help tell us a little bit about how this fin is going to surf when you put it in your board. If you were to put a fin with a flexible trailing edge into your surfboard, like the Black Sticks fin that we talked about last week with its flexible honeycomb on the trailing edge, and then push that board into a turn, you would find that you could get a really tight radius out of your fins because of the way that the back half of that fin molds and conforms to the tight radius you're trying to draw with your board. But when you exert the same amount of effort in a turn using a fin with a stiffer trailing edge, you naturally end up drawing a wider radius turn because the back half of this fin doesn't want to mold and conform into a tight radius, quite like a fin with a more flexible back half. That means that according to the way that this fin is built, it'll be most fun on a wide open-faced wave that gives you a lot of room for those long, wide, arcing, carving turns on the shoulder, because of the way that this fin fights pressure to bend out towards the rail in its back half and does an excellent job of holding long lines when you put your board on a rail. The mark of a well-designed fin is often seeing that the materials used to make it complement the shape of the fin, the template of it. And in the case of the Carver, we see the materials and the template working for the same outcome. A common way to look at the shape of a fin's template is to draw an imaginary line from the trailing edge of the base down, and then looking at how much surface area is in front of that line and behind that line. On fins that have a higher percentage of their surface area in front of that line, you can expect them to surf with a little bit more pivot, and on fins that have a higher percentage of surface area behind that line, you can expect them to turn more drawn out. Using my Fanatic membership, I'm surfing these two sets of fins, and when you put two of them together to compare templates, you can see that the Carver has a trailing tip that's a bit more pulled back with a little bit more area in the trailing edge, and that this fin definitely holds a higher percentage of its surface area behind that line when compared with the Performer. Because of the stiff trailing edge on these fins and extremely swept back tip, these fins don't lend themselves quite as well to beach breaks as they do to point breaks. So if you're testing a set of these with Fanatic, go look for some point breaks, or if you don't have access to those, at least find some really well-defined peaks. Having said that, Kai Otten won a WCT event this year in Portugal on these fins, and that event was full of barrels at a beach break, so depending on your preferences, you might like surfing these fins in just about anything. This week I've been surfing some head, maybe shoulder-high barreling beach break in San Diego, and my preference has really been the Performers. If you've been surfing the Carvers by FCS II, tell us what you think in the YouTube comments below. And before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Colby Leslie. You are winning a set of size large Jordy fins courtesy of Fanatic. To learn more about testing surfboard fins with Fanatic, check the link below this video. We will see you tomorrow on Shred Show.